How else does M&V help you? So I was sitting here yesterday finalizing this slide and I was trying to just think through this, and I came up with 4 things of how M&V can help you. I'm pretty sure if we all workshopped it together, we could probably find a couple more, but this is a good starting point. This is a really powerful slide, I think. The first one's obvious, right? So how does M&V help you? It helps you prove the saving and justify your fee to customer. We have discussed that to death, this whole chapter, so I'm not going to go over that again. But what else does it do, right? So we know it does that. It helps you justify your fee to your customer. It helps you get repeat work. They're going to give you more money to do more of this because they're seeing success. The second one, it helps you create a case study that you can use to win more optimization work. Now that's kind of obvious, and that point number 2, it's basically the same as point number 1. It's just repurposed in a different way. So you spend all this time thinking about the M&V up front, what I need to create to help me prove at the end. At the end, you've now got the trends you need. You can see the fan speed was this speed. You downloaded, the fan speed was 10% less the next day or whatever it is. You can prove that. You can just simply wrap that up and repurpose it. This is called repurposing, when you do something to provide value to you, to help you, but you repurpose it for something else, which is great. It's like free, the repurposing. Now you create a case study that shows in detail exactly the success you had in the project and the outcome of the project. Now, all BMS companies have case studies for these sort of things. And basically, all the case studies normally say is there's a photograph of the building in the front, and there's some words about this long. It says, we were engaged by this customer to do a chiller optimization project, which ran from this month to this month, and they saved a certain amount of kilowatts of hours. It was great. Like, they would say that, but it is rare that a case study actually backs it up with actual evidence, like real evidence. Like, here's the project program, here's the dates we followed, and here's the screenshots of the extra graphics we created, the extra trends we created, the virtual meters we created, the calculated points we created. Like a 5-page, 10-page document. They don't go into that level of detail because BMS companies, or all companies, mechanical, electrical, fire, everybody, when they create case studies, it's some marketing person that's trying to put something together afterwards that was never thought of before. So as you set up your M&V at the start, and as you're like grabbing information, screenshots of things during the project, during your tuning, at the end, you've got this nice little report, which you give to your customer to justify your fee. Point number 1. The second thing is that gets repurposed as a very impressive, never seen before, awesome case study. Now, let me pause for a second. I want to make this up, right? At the moment, BMS companies generally, I don't think we actively offer control strategy optimization as a revenue stream. We're not doing that, I don't think. But a lot of them are doing, right? There are a bunch of BMS companies that do actually put in fee proposals and offer their customers optimization work. But it's just a fee proposal, like the usual thing. There's no examples in there of the new graphics they're going to get, the new trends they're going to get, the new dashboards they're going to get, the new reports. There's none of that in their proposal, right? So here's what I'm saying. Option 1 is you just issue your company a fee proposal like normal. And let's say, for example, you're going to charge your customer $20,000 to do this optimization piece. You're going to charge your customer $20,000 to do this optimization piece of work with the fee proposal. I'm proposing that if you issue the fee proposal with all this extra information, examples of what they're going to get, and it provides more, it makes your proposal look better, I'm proposing that you could charge your customer double the money. Plain, ordinary proposal with just words is $20,000. The proposal with 10 pages of examples and graphics, screenshots and dashboards and the report sample, you could get $40,000 for that, because you're actually proving, you're showing there's more authority to your proposal. It's carrying more weight to it, the proposal. And if you have 3 case studies with your proposal, 3 10-page, very well thought through case studies of what the M&V work you did before, the changes, the improvements, a story behind it, I'm proposing you could charge $80,000 for the project. Dumb fee proposal with words, showing them what they're going to get, and the case studies. You go from $20,000 fee to an $80,000 fee. It's the same work. That's just tens of thousands of dollars of profit in the back pocket. All right. Now I'm making that up sort of, but with the third example, the $80,000 example, they see the proposal. They see that you're going to create these dashboards, these reports, these groups of trends from real jobs. You screenshot them from real jobs. And now they see that the last 3 jobs you did or 5 jobs you did, the customer saved this many kilowatt hours every month forever. And they can say, okay, well, if I spend $80,000 on this project, it looks like after 3 months or 6 months, the return on investment was that I've now paid off that $80,000 investment. After 6 months, I've paid off, and now I get that benefit moving forward. This is definitely worth $80,000. Actually, even if it takes you 12 months, even if it takes you 2 years to pay off that $80,000, they're still seeing a return on investment. They're thinking, after 2 years, I've saved up $80,000. I've paid the investment I first made in this project. And now for the next 10 years, I'm going to make those savings. I'm going to get those savings. Like, is that a no-brainer? That's point 2. That was exciting enough to be its own slide. Point 3, it helps you tune the system. This is kind of important, right? It helps you tune the system. So if you haven't created those points up front and created those trends up front and those virtual meters up front that you need for the proving, okay, and you need for the case studies, how can you tune the system and optimize it and tweak it when you haven't built the parameters that you need to look at? You haven't created the graphics that you need to look at, that your eyeballs can look at and tune the system. To tune the system, to make changes, you got to look at something. You got to look at a trend or look at a graph or a dashboard and say, okay, and you tune the system. You're looking, tuning. Oh, I went too far and come back a little bit. That was bad. So you cannot tune a system if you haven't created the points and the graphics and the trends and the reports to help your brain make decisions. Just realize that I'm still on full picture. That was point 3. It helps you tune the system. I'm proposing that you cannot tune and optimize a system and squeeze out every bit of kilowatt hours out of it, squeeze all those kilowatt hours out if you haven't built the system in a way that presents the information to your eyes so that your brain can make decisions. Control strategy I think I've discussed this before. Control strategy optimization, it's not just a downloaded smarter program that just makes everything better. It's usually a downloaded smarter program that now has more parameters that you can adjust, more parameters available to you to adjust to optimize the system. So yeah, like that's dot point 3. If like we need measurement and verification for dot points 1 and 2, but you kind of like also need those points, those trends, those parameters to help you understand how it's going. How's it going? Like, is it working? No, it's not working. We tweak this, tweak that, tweak that. Oh, that's better. I can see it, right? Dot point 4. It covers you personally in case the optimization project didn't work. It shows you followed a process. It didn't work, but it wasn't because you didn't have a plan, a process. It's not because you weren't professional. Now, a couple of slides before I gave you the example of, you're sitting in the account meeting at the end of the year with your customer and they ask you how to go. And you're like, you can't show them anything, right? That example. Now let's expand that example. Your boss is sitting in their office at work and you've been working this job. It's been 12 months and, it didn't work. They paid you money. You did the design, you did the engineering, you commissioned it, you did the measurement verification, you did everything. You did everything perfect. You followed the process. It just didn't work. Like this can happen. This is possible. The system either didn't save any energy or it hasn't saved enough energy, enough kilowatt hours to justify the fee you charge the customer. So basically, it's not a success. And your boss calls you in there and says, hey, like, what the hell happened here? We've charged our customer $50,000. They've paid us, and this didn't work. What happened? Like, what happened? Like, you're in trouble. You got two options. One is you say, well, I followed the process. I did the M&V. I did all the things, and you could show them you followed the process. Here's the trends. Here's the case study thing at the end. You can prove that you followed a process. You followed a robust professional process. You did everything correct as per the company's process and procedures for optimization projects. Don't know why it didn't work, but I followed the process. I think you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay because you followed the process. You did the right thing. You could now look at the process. Where in the process that your company uses, where was the breakdown that it didn't work? Was it that did your company offer demand control ventilation and install new CO2 sensors in an old building where you can't reduce the outside air? So in the demand control ventilation course, there's a lesson there that talks about when you should not sell demand control ventilation in old buildings. So maybe your company offered up an optimization initiative that's not a good initiative. It's just not a good one. It's not one you shouldn't be offering up. And that's why it worked. So this number 4 here, you've got two options. Option 1 is you talk through to your boss and you explain to them you did the right thing. Sorry about it. It didn't work out. I did the right thing. Or you're sitting there scratching your head thinking, well, I did the project and, I tweaked the same story as last time. I tweaked a few things. I made a few changes. I tried really hard. I don't know. That's not a good example. That's not a good answer. That's not a good answer. It's going to look like you failed the project. You're unprofessional. It's your fault. We shouldn't give you any optimization project anymore. You're not good at this. So, dot point 1, it helps you prove the saving to your customer. Dot point 2, it helps you repurpose that to create a case study that helps you win more optimization projects for double the cost. Option 3 is doing all this setup helps you tune the system. It helps you understand how's it going. Number 4, it covers your ass. It covers you in case it doesn't work. It covers you in case it doesn't work. If a control strategy change saves energy, but the saving cannot be proven to your customer or client, then there is no saving. Do you get it now? I think you get that now. If I just told you in the beginning, you might have thought, yeah, I'm not sure about that, Bryce. But after all these lessons now, you get it, right?